I was on the brink of losing my family, my career, everything I'd worked very hard to gain. Ultimately, I had to face the fact that potentially I would have to leave my family in order to get help, and that absolutely terrified me.
A current stat that we're looking at is 1 in 5, meaning 20% of our population is going to deal with a mental health or addiction problem at some point in their life.
And for most people, we don't really understand what the difference between outpatient and inpatient is. Inpatient, you have to go and live on their site for a minimum of 30 days, upwards of 60 to 120 depending on the program. Outpatient is you go home every day.
The window of opportunity for someone that wants treatment or wants help is small. And if someone has to wait, they can begin to convince themselves that they don't need help anymore. They can do this on their own. And what that ultimately does is just repeats a cycle.
The additional financial burden of leaving a position or a job for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, however that looks, is one of the barriers, and we just want to eliminate those barriers.
Upon doing research, I was able to find the Possibilities outpatient program, and I was just delighted to know that there was that option out there.
What our province really needs is more timely access to aftercare from the inpatient treatment. One of the biggest gaps that we are seeing is the aftercare support after the 28-day treatment programs. People are coming out of these treatment centers and these programs sober, but once they get back into their daily routine and their daily lives, that's when the struggle really begins. And so we're seeing a huge gap in that aftercare.
Anyone coming out of any kind of treatment, if you have outside supports, you can continue those supports outside of the treatment. If there is no supports that were given to you while you're in treatment, you feel often quite alone leaving your treatment because you don't have anyone.
Our evidence-based program is designed around the brain as it heals from addiction. They have a reasonably predictable timeline that around day 45 is when the brain is producing the least amount of feel-good chemicals, the serotonin, dopamine, that kind of thing. And so if that's at day 45 and you finished your treatment program at day 28, you're on your own when that real big low hits. And so with our program being 120 days long, we can help people through that low and get back to that homeostatic balance that the brain's looking for. And that's when you're going to see real success in recovery. Aftercare that is delivered in a degree of quality that's going to actually produce a successful result is very time intensive, and therefore it's very costly. But to look at it as an expense, it's not the right way to look at it. Looking at it as an investment, that if we can invest a little more time and a little more money into people right away, it's going to cost a lot less in the long run, a lot less in healthcare costs, a lot less in judicial costs. The government is funding 28-day inpatient treatment programs. What the government is not funding is the aftercare supports. For the longest time, the 12-step meetings has been one of the only go-tos for aftercare. The ways that you can help is to reach out to your MLA or MP and voice your concerns. You can make a donation to Possibilities Recovery Center, or you can sponsor a spot in our program.